I recently accepted a job offer from a good company and I'll be starting in January. If you get fired, you are supposed to get a severance pay. The document or a contract called Aufhebungsvertrag, the penalty time of up to 3 months where you will not receive any unemployment benefit. It's not just about them wanting me, it's about me also wanting to work for them, right? Them not taking the lower point of the range was a green flag to me. Hi, I'm Madhu. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. I got a new job as a senior software engineer in Germany. To give you a quick backstory, I've been living in Germany for a very long time now. I was working as a software engineer in a cybersecurity company for 7.5 years, and I got fired in April this year. Until the end of August, I served my notice period, and since September, I'm unemployed. And I recently accepted a job offer from a good company, and I'll be starting in January. So I wanted to put together some important information about what happens after you get fired or when you get fired in Germany, my experiences with Arbeitsamt, my job search process, my interview process, and so on. Let's go. So this is what happened when I got fired. I'll try to explain as best as I can because there are several unique German words involved. So I got fired in April, and the reason that many of us were let go was because of restructuring and cost cutting. So in German companies, there is something called a Betriebsrat, or a union that is supposed to represent the employees. So once the decision was made to fire many people, the Betriebsrat was heavily involved in several rounds of negotiations with the employer to get us a reasonable Abfindung or severance pay. So the result of these negotiations was a document that summarizes all the employee benefits. So here in Germany, if you have been working in a company for a certain number of years and if you get fired, you are supposed to get a severance pay. And the severance pay depends on several factors, including the number of years you worked in a company, your age, whether you have children or not, your brutto pay, etc. So once this was all finalized, our manager presented us with a document or a contract called Aufhebungsvertrag. So this is a document that summarizes everything that was finalized between the union and the employer, and it also includes other clauses like that we would not sue the company, that we would return all the assets that we own, for instance the laptop and etc. And you're presented with this document so you can choose to sign it. So this is like a mutual agreement between the employee and the employer. So if you sign it, instead of the fact that you got fired, you are now mutually agreeing to this termination. So the problem with signing such contracts is that later when you apply for unemployment benefits with the Arbeitsamt, with your Aufhebungsvertrag, there is a high chance that you might get something called Sperrzeit, or the penalty time of up to 3 months where you will not receive any unemployment benefits because you're mutually agreeing with this termination. So be careful if you're in such situations, because unless you see some benefits to signing these contracts, there is no reason to sign any of them. The reason that the companies are trying to get you to sign such contracts is because they are trying to avoid the future lawsuits from unlawful dismissal. I apparently did not sign the contract. I'm not going to agree with them firing me. So the company tried to get me to sign a different contract called Abwicklungsvereinbarung. Yeah, a big German word, which I did not sign either. So the only thing that I signed is the Kündigung, which is from the employer saying that we are firing this person for so and so reason. And no clauses, nothing, just this one sheet. But I made sure with the Betriebsrat that I get my severance pay no matter what, even if I don't sign these contracts. The reason I'm sharing this with you is because when I was in this situation, I almost signed these contracts. But a colleague of mine showed me that there is absolutely no reason to sign them. I was a bit nervous because there is money involved, and it did not even occur to me that I'm not obligated to sign them. I was shown how to practice my rights and not be scared in situations like this. So that is my takeaway from all of this, and I hope it helps you too. So in April, I came to know that I'll be losing my job. So in May, I registered myself in the Arbeitsagentur website as arbeitssuchend, which means I'm looking for jobs. And in July, I got my Kündigung, and as soon as I got it, I registered as arbeitslos, my job loss. And right before the unemployment starts, at the end of August, I registered for Arbeitslosengeld, the unemployment benefits. The best part of all of this is that I did all these steps online and I didn't have to visit the Arbeitsamt once for any of this process. If you have an Ausweis or the ID card with online functionality built in, you can do all of these steps online. So as soon as I registered as job loss, my job loss, I scheduled a meeting with my contact person from the Arbeitsamt and we had a very basic intro video call. This has to be one of the easiest processes that I have done in Germany, and that's quite surprising. So, if you follow the timeline correctly and submit all the documents on time, you should be receiving your Arbeitslosengeld immediately, just like your salary. The Arbeitslosengeld is 60% of your last salary. Beyond that, the Arbeitsamt keeps sending Stellenempfehlung in their portal, just job suggestions, which I kind of appreciate. Sometimes scrolling through LinkedIn can just be depressing, so I appreciate this. I was not very serious about finding a job. Like I said in my previous video, I just wanted some time off, which I actually got, but I wasn't very diligent in searching for a job. So I thought I could use this time to do some Weiterbildung or some courses to amp up my portfolio. So I was basically, I'm a cybersecurity engineer. I wanted to expand into consultancy, which would lead me to finding or searching for jobs like cybersecurity consultant, security officer, validation officer, verification officer, whatever, etc. So, if you are registered as an Arbeitssuchend or getting Arbeitslosengeld in Germany, you can ask your Arbeitsamt to fund your course or Weiterbildung. So I found a course that I liked and I put up a huge proposal and I added all my arguments and I applied online to the Arbeitsamt. Immediately they asked me for all the jobs that I have applied to so far. So luckily I applied to few jobs in the past few months and I compiled a list and I sent it to them. The very next day, I got a call from Arbeitsamt about my application. This was basically a call uh, for me to convince them to give me money to do my Weiterbildung. Since the course costed a lot of money, it was quite hard for me to convince them. But there are some key takeaways that convinced me to move on. So here are some key takeaways. The first thing that they said was that I have a great CV already, and whatever that I want to learn, I can learn directly from the job, and that I don't have to spend so much money and time in a Weiterbildung. This is actually valid because most of the things that I know now are from experience. So that's a valid point. The second thing is that they could use such money on people that do not have any chance. That is a valid point that I agree with. And the third thing is that if I do a Weiterbildung, I'll be out of the job market for a very long time and that it could have adverse effects later. I do not 100% agree with this point, but this is something that made me reflect on later. So, to conclude, they said that I could search for jobs for a couple of more months, and if I'm still jobless, they would consider my Weiterbildung proposal. So, this is just my experience. I would still recommend you to not hesitate to talk to your Arbeitsamt in case you want to do a Weiterbildung, how much ever expensive it is. Just go with good arguments to convince them, and remember that the conversation will be in German. Since this video feels long with so much important informations, I would like to keep this section short and just give you the important points. Basically, I am a software engineer, a system level engineer. I have expertise in cybersecurity, and I have worked with programming languages like C, C++, Java, and I also have expertise in Linux operating system, and I have also worked on CI/CD pipelines and so on and so forth. So I am basically a horizontal engineer with expertise or knowledge on different things rather than a vertical specialist. So the first point is that to prepare for the interviews, I basically went through the basics of operating system. Second thing, the basics of C and basics of assembly language. I also was applying for embedded developer positions. So that's what I did. And going through the basics already gave me a good amount of confidence to face interviews. The second important point is that please do not add anything to your CV that you are not confident about talking. I did not add anything to my CV from 2011 because I do not remember anything from that job now. The third important point is that, not important point, the third point is that when I applied for jobs, I did not only look in LinkedIn. Instead, I used Google Maps to look for companies near and around, and I went through their individual sites and scrolled for jobs. Sometimes I feel this is better than scrolling through LinkedIn. So the job I got now is for the role of platform and infrastructure engineer, which I'm guessing will have bits and pieces of everything like scripting, coding, automation, etc. And about the interview, I hate interviews, but this interview was all green flags. The first round of interview, as much as they tested my knowledge on things, they gave me equal amount of time and space to question them about the company and the role itself, which is a green flag because it's not just about them wanting me, it's about me also wanting to work for them, right? So that was nice. And at the end of the first round of interview, they already wanted to schedule a second round of interview, which they did so very quickly. They gave me a sense that they want me. They knew that I was looking for jobs and they made me feel wanted. In the second round of interview, we discussed salaries and I gave them a range instead of a number. They took the midpoint when they offered me the job. Them not taking the lower point of the range was a green flag to me. So in the next few days, they offered me the job and the contracts were signed, and I'll be starting next month. And that's it for the video. If you stayed till here watching, thank you so much. I hope this information here helps you in some way. If you have similar experiences or questions, please feel free to share them in the comments below. And if you want to be a part of this journey, please subscribe. That would make me so happy. Until the next video, stay healthy and happy. Take care. Bye.